Good morning. It is Wednesday, sometime in April. No, I know what date it is. It's April 7th because it's my cousin's birthday. So we're halfway through the week, midweek, and let's just take a minute and talk about this energy. I've had a lot of people ask me, when is this going to end? And how can we see in our actual lives the improvement or changes that are happening with this ascension process? Because we're feeling a lot of things in our body, right? When do we get to a point where we start to feel more supercharged instead of just exhausted and overwhelmed? And so we had talked about this briefly, I think, before. We're kind of halfway through the physical part of this, amazingly. At least that's what's coming through. And if you take a moment, you may actually be able to notice a lot of changes in the way that you do a lot of things. And I mean how you do things with your physical body, how you think about things and process them, the way that you hold your emotions and where you hold them. All of these things are what the energies have been upgrading for you. So take a moment and kind of assess yourself and see what actually has changed, because it can seem like small details that are not pronounced. It's not like you have blue skin suddenly, or when you speak, glitter comes out of your mouth for some of us, but it is changing the inner workings of our system. So notice the places where you react differently. Notice the places where you do something physically and it feels different for your body, because I think that will really help you to see that things are definitely changing. This week for me has been a week of being a little bit more quiet than I am usually, although you may not have noticed that. But for me, I've noticed it. Haven't seen anybody. I have been, very much in my own little cocoon, and I've been outside a lot, because I get overwhelmed with this energy sometimes because I'm constantly channeling. And when I channeled the energy update for April, it kind of blew all my circuits a little bit. Not in a bad way, but it was more like, oh, you asked for this really big thing and we gave it to you. Did you like it? And I was like, no, it felt like I might die. So it's been me kind of dialing back just a little bit to understand what's happening, what's coming through, and to let whatever energy did come through to kind of integrate within me. And I feel much better after having spent 3 solid days outside, and just allowing the water, the air, the sun, the earth to kind of refresh and hold my energy. So if you are feeling any such ways, and I know a lot of you already go worship at nature church regularly, so you know this, but go for a walk in the woods, sit outside on the grass, go outside, take some deep breaths, try to be near some water. These things will help your body to process through these integrations so much more smoothly, and it just helps your system so very much. And again, physical movement is going to be so important right now, because we've gotten to the place where the upgrades are really in your body and a lot of things are coming out. And that is why today we're talking about forgiveness. We have a lot of things stuck inside of us. It sounds terrible, but we have a lot of energy that's stuck inside of us. Everyone has a different energy. Everybody holds things differently. Everybody treats transgressions differently as well. I mean, especially depending on your zodiac sign and all of the intricacies that make you up. You may be a person who holds grudges very easily, or you may be a person who doesn't hold grudges at all, or somewhere in between. It may be very easy for you to release past hurts, or you may hold on to them. Like if you let go, you won't know who you are anymore. I don't know. I don't know which one you are. It depends, for me, I'm very Scorpio, so it could really go deep with me. So talking about forgiveness today, because we want to assist ourselves in any way, shape, or form with getting lighter. When we unburden our system, our energetic system, we can then feel so much more alive and in flow. And these upgrades and energies coming in won't knock us on our butts as much because we won't have so much density. When you release stuck energy, you allow yourself to move to the next, right? You allow yourself to move forward. Sometimes we don't want to move forward because forward is future. We don't know what's over there. And sometimes it hurts too much to let go of things. And I totally understand that. But hear me out. Forgiveness is going to be key to releasing a lot of the stuck things inside of you. Forgiveness for others and forgiveness for yourself. And one of the things that helps me when I start thinking about this concept is not to think of forgiveness as saying whatever happened is okay or was okay, or making excuses, or giving somebody a pass. That's not what forgiveness actually means in this context. For our purposes, forgiveness means releasing yourself from a story that is anchoring you into a timeline you no longer want to be in. And that is it. It's literally you finding this little key, which is your forgiveness, clicking it in, turning it, and releasing that, and releasing yourself so that you can be anchored in a place that you actually want to be now. Because when we hold anger, when we hold judgment, when we hold grudges, we are literally taking a piece of our energy, of a powerful piece of our energy, and anchoring it into that situation forever. We can be anchored in a situation that happened 20 years ago and be living, quote unquote, living in the present moment while still anchored in that hurt that happened 20 years ago. I know people who live like this, and you can see it, you can feel it, it vibrates off of them. It is absolutely impossible for them to be present, for them to experience new things with an open mind, because that anchor is consistently dragging them back into that old space. And we don't want to do that anymore. So thankfully, this isn't that difficult to fix if what you want is to move forward. So thinking about anytime somebody has done something that has hurt your feelings, just on a base level, like, you were really shitty to me. I found out you were talking behind my back and I no longer want to be friends with you. And that really hurts, right? Ideally, we would have spoken to that person, right? And been honest about it. But in a realistic sense, that's just not how things usually go, right? Sometimes this person does a thing, you hear about it, and then you just kind of drop off and you don't want to confront that person at all. And it is what it is, especially if it happened 15 years ago. But if you're still carrying any vibrations of that, it's time to forgive. And what it means as a process is this. Take a deep breath and think about the person who did the thing. Allow yourself to maybe write down all the ways in which that person fucked with you and all the reasons that you are angry and holding on to that, okay? Then, on another part of your paper, write down all the ways that you being angry at this person has affected you positively and negatively. Look at how it changes your life holding on to that energy. And then, how does it change their life, you holding on to that energy? Does it affect them at all that you're holding a grudge, or is it only affecting you? Because if it's only affecting you, what's the point, right? You're not going to win an award for holding this grudge the longest, and they're not going to lose any contests either because they've kind of stepped out of the situation. They dropped the bomb, the stink bomb, and then they walked right out. They walked right out the door, and you're sitting here with the stink bomb, and you're like, I'm gonna sit here with this stink bomb till they realize what a shithead they are. And meanwhile, they're just living their life because this is actually your business now, right? So what do you do with this stink bomb? Think about it. How has being angry about this, holding this grudge, whatever, how has it affected you positively and negatively? Okay. And it's fine if you can find some ways that this has affected you positively. Don't feel like that's really bad or anything. It's not. It's life, right? And depending on where you are, how far away from you that transgression happened, you may actually take pleasure in being angry and holding a grudge. I know my Scorpios enjoy that, and sometimes my Aries do as well. So It is what it is, right? That's okay. You're allowed to feel a full spectrum of your colorful, beautiful, perfect emotions. You're allowed to be kind of a dick sometimes, but the key is sometimes and not forever and always, right? Be in your emotions and then let's process through them and not live in them forever, because that's how you get stuck. So we're looking at our paper here. We see the person has done this shitty thing. We see how this person is actually not affected by us holding this grudge. And here are 5 ways that this has positively affected me. And here are 20 ways in which it hasn't affected me positively. In fact, now there are places I can't go. There are friends I can no longer be friends with. Who knows? It's a list of things that happen, right? Not to mention the biggest one that you may not put on your list, but I'm going to tell you right now. Living rent-free in your precious mental space. That is what you allow someone to do when you hold on to a grudge. They're eating up your energy and they're not even here. You're allowing them to have space here. Why do they deserve to have that if they've acted so shitty to you? Don't you think that space would be better served for people who are actually bringing you joy and happiness into your life? So think about that. It's not like you don't have a lot of space, because you sure do, but don't you want most of your space to be taken up by things that you actually choose and that actually bring you something in return that you want? So we looked at this situation, right? Okay, I'm ready to tackle this. How do I get rid of this problem? Forgiveness. No, thank you. I forgive no one because they need to learn their lesson. Well, here is the thing. If you have ever said that, if you have said, no, I'm not going to let go of this because they need to learn their lesson, you, my friend, are living in ego town. And we've all been there. It is part of being human. But if you have ever said, this person needs to learn a lesson and I need to teach them that lesson, you're on the wrong platform, because that platform is never going to get you anywhere. No train's coming, okay? And you will be alone and it will be really shitty. So think again about sovereignty, right? Think about how everything you do, you are responsible for, and vice versa with every other person on this planet. Even if they're not in a place of assuming responsibility, they actually are responsible for their actions, and they will energetically be held responsible for their actions. It is not your job to be the judge and jury for other people. It is not your job to teach people lessons, okay? You can put that as a thing you want to do, and you can spend a lot of energy, a lot of time and energy, and you can get so dried up and so tight and so angry and so balled up with frustration. Who's winning there? You're hurting yourself, and nobody is learning a lesson, because we're not here to teach people lessons. We are here to be lessons, okay? Let me say that again. We are not here to teach people lessons. We are here to be lessons. So you don't have to necessarily do anything to be a huge, amazing lesson for another person. You step into that role of being whatever lesson you're meant to be by staying in your heart center and living your life in an aligned, truthful way. That allows you to be put in positions with other people that they look at you and they learn things. Or you pop into their life and you give them some experience that was big for them, pivotal for them, and you might never know about it. And that's okay. You are here to be lessons while living your life. And others are lessons for you, right? Think about this person who comes in and just does something that just really pisses you off and makes you mad. And now you have to forgive them. But think of it this way. If this person hadn't come in and done this thing to you and messed up your day or whatever it is they did, how different would your life have been? Usually when someone comes in and does something like that, it exposes something that we needed to see within ourselves or within a situation that we're in. Maybe a big shift needed to happen, and that energy pushing in and moving you into a different direction was exactly what needed to happen, right? So pull out when you start to get myopic about being angry and holding grudges about things, because we're here to have experiences, and our guides are constantly sending us signs and signals to turn left, turn right, go straight, stop, pause, pause, okay, go. We're constantly getting that information. We're constantly having people come into our lives as messengers to move us in different directions. So stay fluid so you don't break any bones, right? Stay flexible, be teachable, and understand that when you extend forgiveness to a person, you are not saying what you did is okay. You are not. What you are saying is, I'm removing myself from this energetic thread. I hope you have a good life, right? Boundaries in place. And you saying, I'm no longer going to be connected energetically to this situation, because remember, frog spirit for April, reduce the clutter. And this does mean energetic clutter. Absolutely it does. So please remember that. So if you're holding on to anything right now, if you're holding on to some grudges, or you're mad at some people, or your family's driving you crazy, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're mad about the V, or you're not getting it and someone else is telling you should get it, or you are getting it and you think everybody else should get it, just take a nice deep breath. And remember, we are all on a journey. We're all on a journey. No one's winning anything. We're just having experiences, and we are all each other's teachers, and we are all just doing the things. And so we don't need to judge, and we certainly don't need to punish ourselves by hooking ourselves to low energy situations that have passed. Okay? Let me just take a sip of this. That's my head, and I want to read Rose's comment. It's up here. Okay. So for Rose, she says, for me right now, I'm trying to forgive an institution, realizing how much was ingrained in me in the past that I'm ready to let go of. I'm realizing my secret story there. Okay, let's talk about this, because doesn't that on face value kind of hit a little differently when you say I'm trying to forgive an institution? Right? Because, and I have this too, because I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, and I have so many resentments and scars from that, and for the people who put me in that situation and told me it was good. So when you look at forgiving an institution, I think that I would really pivot that a little bit to yourself. And this actually segs to my next part really well. Where are the places in your life where you need to extend forgiveness to yourself? Because while there are plenty of us who become angry and hold a grudge against a situation or a person, whatever it is, there are just as many of us who don't do that and instead turn on ourselves and become angry and disappointed in ourselves and can't forgive ourselves for allowing ourselves to be so stupid, to be in a situation that allowed this to happen. It's all of this self-blame that comes in, and that is also something that we need to release ourselves from, right? Because we love to beat ourselves up. A lot of us do, right? To beat ourselves up about, I should have known better. I should have seen this coming. If I had only done this, then this would have happened, and then I wouldn't be feeling this way. It runs the gamut, but you know the narrative if you have this kind of self-talk. And that is, I would say, even more insidious and damaging, because you live with you, right? The voices here, this one here, it's with you for life, and no one can really interrupt it. It's with you. You wake up in the morning and it's there talking to you. You go to sleep at night, it's there talking to you. And this is the voice, the one with you, that needs to be the kindest, the most safe, the most, the most open to change, open to forgiveness, and open to understanding. This is the voice that needs to be able to hold space for you above all other energies and voices, because you live with this. This is you. So where are the places in your life where you need to forgive yourself? Where extending forgiveness to yourself so that you can release yourself from being anchored to however many situations you are anchored into that you feel you let yourself down, or you let somebody else down, or whatever it was. Can you release that? Can you extend to yourself the same type of leeway and forgiveness that you would easily extend to another person? Can you do that? Because if you can, that is going to unlock for you a whole new level. This is the level of releasing the secret stories, right? This is the level of fully embracing yourself in all of your parts, the light and the dark, and every shade in between, and seeing how amazing all of those parts are together and embracing that. Because look, you're with you for your whole life, and you need to approve of yourself. You need to validate yourself. You need to forgive yourself, and you need to allow yourself space to heal and to feel like you're not going to be judged, even if that person judging you is you. And oftentimes, isn't that us? So, it's been interesting because since I opened back up to one-on-ones, we've been doing a lot of inner child work. A lot. It just keeps coming up because so many of us have this little child inside of us who something happened to way back in the day, and that child didn't have an adult to say, here's what this situation means. Here's context, right? So what happened? That little child did the best that they could, and they compartmentalized that. They took all the information that they could understand, and they took it, and they protected you. They held it for you, so that now here you are, a fully formed adult. Are you scarred from this? Totally. We're all scarred from so many things. That's okay. Did experience happen to you in your life because of this that were possibly not the greatest for you, that hurt you, that put you through some really big situations in your life? Probably so. But now, as this person, we have this amazing ability to go back and find that little girl or that little boy and say, this is what this is. And I hold the space for you. And now you're off duty because I see it too. So you can start to trust me to make decisions to keep us safe, which means you can now stop being the adult and stop trying to protect me from all the things, because I'm now strong enough to look at them. I'm strong enough to tell you what they are, and I'm strong enough to forgive both of us for all of it. And to say, not only do I forgive you, but you did a really good job. You did a really good job of handling something that you shouldn't have had to handle at such a young age. So good, you did it. And now here we are, grown up with so much experience under our belts, so much love, so much depth of emotion and feeling that we can now help when asked. We can now extend love to others in a way that has such deep feeling and color and meaning, because we have experienced so much deepness, color, and meaning. And that full circle healing of releasing that inner child and saying, hey, I got this now, it's amazing. And it doesn't take that long. Nothing does anymore. It's like, oh, okay, we see this, and now we start moving into this energy and kind of just releasing it. So I hope that makes sense for you, because I wasn't meaning to kind of launch into an inner child discussion this morning. I wanted to see what Ricky said. Ricky says, sometimes our biggest teachers are our biggest angels that help us gain or remember our strengths, gifts that we wouldn't have otherwise. 100%. Oops, did I delete that? No, I didn't delete that. 100%. So thank you. This is good for me this morning. It is, Lisa, it's very hard to let go and forgive. But just remember what we just talked about. Letting go and forgiving doesn't mean that that experience is no longer yours. It doesn't mean that you invalidate what you went through. It doesn't mean that you say whatever happened is okay now. It never has to be okay. And I just want to say that, because sometimes we can love and light things a little too hard, and that's not helpful either. Some things are shitty, and they will remain shitty. The difference is you no longer have to be anchored into that anymore. You don't have to be anchored to it in order to have learned the lesson from it, and in order to have said, yeah, this happened. You don't need to be anchored to it anymore. This is all about digging in there and starting to retell your stories in a way that your voice doesn't shake, right? Telling your story in a way that you can say, this is who I am, right? I'm Sarah, and these things happen to me, but they are not me. They are part of the events that shaped this person you are looking at and interfacing with today. And as such, if you enjoy interfacing with this Sarah who's here with you today, there is nothing that has happened up until this moment that I should have to be ashamed of, that I should have to feel like I can't talk about or anything. None of that. Because every single thing that I have ever done or has ever been done to me has made me this person sitting here talking to you today. And this is a person I am very close to and I really like. So think about that for yourself today on this Wednesday. Allow yourself some grace, allow yourself some space, and drink a lot of water. Get outside where you can. It's a lot, but I feel confident that you got this. I know you do. I've been watching you. And we're also leading up to the new moon. It is on the 11th. Restoration members, I think our call is on Saturday. If you are not part of Restoration and you would like to join our new moon call, which I don't know what we're doing yet, but it's been weird lately, right? But in a good way. If you'd like to join us, it is no charge to join Restoration for the first month. So click on whatever link I have put somewhere and it says use this code to join Restoration for free. When you do that, you will be enrolled. You will get to take part in the master classes that happen monthly. You'll have access to the previous catalog, so all the master classes from before. And this month's masterclass is with Liz Weiner of Early Remedies, and we're going to be talking about detoxing with the herbs and different springtime planty things. You can tell I really need this one because I know literally nothing. So that is what's happening. Also, my website for members, I know it's been a real pain in the butt and it's not been working, but it's under massive construction and it's going to be so beautiful and it's almost done. So in time for the 1-year anniversary of Restoration, which is May 1st, we will have a brand new website with a very robust members area, catalog, all the things. So it's going to be great. And if you click on that link, you can also see all the other things I've got going on. If you want to see me in person for group activations, that's happening on the 23rd. Here at the schoolhouse in Mechanicsburg, and I am doing one-on-ones now. I post my availability either in my Instagram stories, sometimes I post in the Restoration Facebook group, or I send you a text message if you're signed up for that. So if you want to be signed up, send a mala to 474747, and I send availability out there first, and then I post it to my Instagram stories, and you can book straight from there. Okay? I love you guys. Have an amazing Wednesday. Stay in your heart centers, drink water. And if this has been helpful for you on YouTube, the podcast, or live, it would be an honor if you would share and tell people that you enjoyed it because that helps me so much. See you on Friday. Nope, I'll see you on Thursday. Live channeling tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow.